Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 590 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Heidi, and I'm so happy that you are joining me today. If you're new, this is where we dive into mindset shifts and daily habits and the little and sometimes big choices that lead to a life that's not just successful, but also wildly fulfilling. Who doesn't want that, right? I mean, we talk about living with intention and embracing growth and also finding and creating that inner peace that radiates into everything that we do. And I love to say that life just doesn't have to be that hard. And it really doesn't. But most of the time, we're the ones making it harder. But don't fret, we can fix that. And that's what one of the goals of this podcast is, to help each one of us live our best, happiest life, which starts right in our heads, the way we think. And one of the ways to help us live happier lives is letting go of the things that are holding us back. Now, Eric, my husband, and I just got back from this incredible trip to St. Augustine, Florida. It's some of our closest friends. We have this amazing group that we travel with several times a year. It really feels like our own little tribe of adventurers who we all just kind of get each other. There's always lots of laughing and lots of deep conversations, which I love, and zero drama, which is the best part of it. But this time, when we traveled, we stayed at one of the couple's homes that they built right on the ocean. It's spectacular, floor-to-ceiling windows just from every view. It's amazing. But there also, when you step outside, you get that salty air that instantly just seems to melt away any stress. Do you feel that when you're at the beach? And it's kind of the place that makes you just kind of stop and appreciate how good life can be. And one morning we were all out on the balcony sipping coffee and just kind of taking in the view, and the sun was rising over the water, and it's one of those moments where you just feel really present. And our friend Max, he's always got these insightful observations, but he points over to the lot next door and he says, "It's been so fascinating watching the progress over there. They've been doing all this landscaping and clearing of the lot to build their new home." But then he points to this one palm tree, and it was just beautiful, standing tall with these vibrant green fronds bursting out from the top. It looked so healthy. And he said that palm tree right there, it used to look like it was on its last legs, like it was dying. It was covered in all these dead brown palm leaves that were just hanging all the way down the trunk. And it was just seemed to really be weighing it down. There was like one or two little green fronds at the top. But as the crew cleaned up the lot, they stripped away all of those dead fronds. And he said it was amazing to watch because they sit out there and have their coffee every morning. But he said within just a couple of weeks of all that dead old, fronds being pulled away, new green growth started shooting out from the top. And now it's thriving like it has never thrived before. And he said it's been amazing to watch. I mean, it must have taken so much energy. Those dying branches just took so much energy that it was holding back from really growing. And I sat there listening to him and staring at that tree, and it hit me. And I turned to him and I said, that's life in a nutshell. Sometimes the things we cling to, whether it's old habits or toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, or even physical clutter, like things that are around your house or office or car, they suck up so much of our energy that we can't thrive the way we're supposed to. I mean, sure, we're surviving, but we're not really flourishing. You see that palm tree? It didn't choose to let go. Someone else cleared the dead weight for it. But in our lives, we have to be the one to do that pruning. We have to identify what's dead or dying and release it so that we can channel all of that energy into new growth. Now, I was talking to my little sister Molly about this episode, and when I was telling her kind of what I was talking about, she said, well, we don't have to do it all by ourselves. We can ask for help too. And she's so right. But even in my opinion, even the act of asking for help, that's part of doing for ourselves because we're asking for what we need, which is not easy for everyone. But in my opinion, it's a brave and smart person who doesn't suffer alone. Sometimes we do need help, and that's okay. But I really do think that palm tree is a powerful metaphor and something that I've been thinking about since we got home. I mean, think about your own life right now. And I've been doing mine. Like, what are the dead palm leaves that you're carrying around? Maybe it's a grudge that, you've had for years and it's still kind of simmering in the background, stealing your peace every time it pops up. Or maybe it's a job that's just sort of draining you dry, but you're holding on because, well, what if nothing better comes along? It could even be something as simple as a closet full of clothes that you never wear, but they represent who you used to be, so you can't let them go. I mean, it could be that you're hanging on to relationships that aren't serving you any longer. I've done that. I've had friends in my life that, years ago where they became more like an energy vampire, constant negativity and drama. And I kind of found myself not really liking who I was becoming when I spent time with them. And I kept thinking, well, I can raise them up. But usually what happens is they suck you in instead. And deep down, I knew that it was dead weight. And when I finally started setting boundaries for myself and I kind of watched those relationships fade naturally, it felt like a weight was lifted. And all of a sudden, I had more space for the positive connections that I wanted and more energy for my goals. See, new green fronds started appearing, like opportunities and even a renewed sense of joy in my daily routine. Now, this isn't just about big life changes, though. It could be, the small stuff too, which I don't really think this is small, but I just said it was small, but like negative thought patterns, because they affect your life so much. We all have those thought patterns that sometimes can loop in our head, like I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or things never work out for me, or my life, sucks, or whatever. These are like those brown leaves and they just zap your energy. And to me, here's where it gets really interesting is Byron Katie, who's one of my favorite teachers on mindset. I was introduced to her from Brooke Castillo, but she had this quote and I read it this week and she said, I don't let go of my thoughts. I question them and they let go of me. I love that so much. It's not about forcing yourself to let go through sheer willpower, which we do try to do sometimes, and it can feel impossible. But instead, it's about getting curious, like questioning the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves. I mean, Byron Katie's work, which ironically she calls the work, it's all about asking 4 simple questions when you have a thought that's not serving you. First question is it true? I mean, can you absolutely know that it's true? And how do you react when you believe that thought? And then finally, who would you be without that thought? So, for example, say you're holding on to a belief, like maybe I can't start that business because I might fail. Well, if you apply those questions, like, is it true? Like, well, maybe because, failure is a possibility, but am I certainly going to fail? No. And can you absolutely know it's true? Absolutely not. Plenty of people succeed after trying. And then when you ask yourself, how do I react when I believe that thought? Well, if you believe that you couldn't start that business because you might fail, well, you'd be paralyzed. You're certainly not going to take the next step. You would procrastinate and you would probably feel very stuck. And then finally, if you asked yourself, who would I be without that thought? If I didn't think that I would possibly fail, or if it didn't stop me, I would feel very free and very excited and ready to take that first step, even if it was small. You see, when you question the thoughts that aren't serving you, they'll often lose their grip on you. They let go. It's like pruning the tree yourself, gently. And suddenly your energy can be redirected towards your thriving, towards the things that you were meant for, which is creativity and connection and abundance. And I know some of you might be thinking, well, that's easier said than done, because letting go does feel scary. And I totally get that. Change really does feel scary at first. But think back to that palm tree. It didn't resist the clearing. Once the dead stuff was gone, nature took over and growth happened naturally. The same is true for us. Our natural state is to thrive. We're wired for that, but we have to create the space to be able to do that. So a few things that you could try this week is maybe grab a journal and make a list of your dead palm leaves. Like, what are they? What's weighing you down? Is it maybe a relationship or some habits you have? Maybe some beliefs, or maybe it's things in your home that's clutter in your house. And then for each one, ask yourself, what energy is this taking from me? And what could I gain by letting it go? And if it's a thought or if it's a belief, you could run Byron Katie's 4 questions by it. You can start small. You don't have to clear the entire house of clutter in one day. You could just do one drawer. Or you could have that honest conversation that you've been avoiding. Or question that nagging doubt that's holding you back from, whatever it is that you're doubting. And each active release is like stripping away a brown, dead, dying frond that's zapping you of your energy. And before you know it, you'll see this new growth. You'll have fresh ideas and you'll be noticing all the better opportunities. And with that comes a deeper peace. You see, it's not about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering who you already are underneath all that extra weight. And remember, thriving is not a destination. It's actually a daily practice. Some days you're going to spot a new dead leaf and prune it right away. Other days you might need a little help from friends. But what you want to do is surround yourself with people who inspire growth and who remind you of your potential. And, I want to leave you with this. And I always like to say this. You are meant to thrive. And that vibrant green top version of you, it's already there, just waiting for the space to emerge. So question what needs questioning and let go of what no longer serves you. Your wildly successful lifestyle, it's just on the other side of that release. So if this episode resonated, share it with a friend who might need a little pruning inspiration. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep choosing growth. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together. And I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.